I've made up these brackets for the exhaust on the quad, and I'm just going to give them a light coat just to basically mask any sort of rust. I don't really need to sand them down. The paint should function two ways. One, it should sort of neutralise the rust, prevent any extra rust occurring. And two, it'll make it look a little bit fresher on the bike, quad bike. And not look like someone's got a sledgehammer and made two brackets. And now I'm going to install the exhaust brackets onto the exhaust. That's a bit rough like, but it will do. And they are made to basically sit onto there, held in with 8mm bolts, nuts and bolts. Sorry, wrong side. Just run the longer bolts for the tops. As you saw, the exhaust couldn't move around, but that's because basically after I tightened it up, it was then heat cycled. Obviously you're supposed to heat cycle exhaust bolts because the expansion and shrinkage will not so much undo, but it's like the undo any fasteners. and I did have to clearance the frame just underneath there, just basically bend this fuel tank support beam. I had to basically bend it up underneath for the exhaust so that it'd sit in place without interfering with it too much, and it'd sit against the head properly. Because what I still need to do is put some heat reflective tape when the owner gets hold of some, that which I'll do like off camera. I will need to put some on the bottom to prevent it melting the fuel tank and causing a fire, because, well, it's a two-stroke and it's an exhaust. It gets really, really hot. Just pause it. I did sort of tighten the front brake up because that was also loose, and no, that's not fitting through there. Hang on. Did have to bend this side in a bit just to make it look a bit more presentable. As I said, I didn't want it looking like it was way over the top of that wheel. Solid. I also tightened up the bolts in the head where I said they come loose with the heat. I've done that. So all that it's got to do now is basically just reassemble the plastics, etc. Put all that together. But I won't bore you too much with it all. You've seen me take the plastics off. You've seen me put plastics on. So I'm not going into too much detail about that. But I did have issues with the carburetor on it. Although yes, it ran and it started. Every time you ran it, it would drip fuel out of the overflow, which is this little pipe down here. It just sort of dripped fuel out the bottom of it, and when you turned it off after running, it would flood out, and it basically overfilling the carb bowl, and that was leaking all over the floor when I wasn't with it. So when I get back, there'd be a puddle, and it would smell. So I adjusted the float in it, nothing would work. Sorry, the shut off needle, the valve that the float pushes up against, I adjusted all that and nothing would stop it overflowing out. This is what I ended up doing, is just switching it back to the original carburetor that came with the other engine. And the inline filter was also leaking, so I've had to order this inline filter there. I'll need to replace this tube. This is just a bit of waste tube that was actually stuck in the vent on the fuel tank. So I've put this on it, but it's actually kinking it over there. The fuel does still flow, but I don't like how that is. So I'll have to rectify that as well. So on that note, I'll call it quits for this one. Yeah. See you later.